church is ever ancient, ever new. And so we have to always allow for new possibilities in the church going forward.
Good. Anybody?
Good.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
That was the Bishop of the Diocese of St. Petersburg, Gregory Parks, speaking to reporters there at the end after celebrating Mass this afternoon and in the chapel of St. Petersburg Catholic High School. That we were able to bring you live here on the Florida Live. A busy afternoon here as we follow the breaking news of a new Pope, Pope Leo XIV. We appreciate you joining us here on Florida Live this afternoon. We're here weekdays 2 to 3 p.m. on Fox Local, fox13news.com, fox35orlando.com, and also on YouTube. That's going to do it for us. If you're watching us on Fox Local Orlando, we'll be back at 4 p.m. with Fox 35 News Plus. If you're watching
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Well, good afternoon to you and welcome into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer and thanks for joining us on this Thursday afternoon live on Fox Local, fox35orlando.com, and also on YouTube. It's been a busy day and a historic day in some aspects. We'll talk about that in just a second here because it is 4 o'clock and that means it's time for today's Top 4 at 4, where we break down 4 of the big stories that we're tracking in the Fox 35 newsroom this afternoon. And joining me for today's Top 4 at 4, Fox 35 News anchor Luann Sorrell. Luann, good afternoon.
Good to be here.
So let's start here, a live look at St. Peter's Basilica, where it is the nighttime now, the end of a historic day where we saw the announcement of a new pope.
Such an exciting day. We saw the white smoke come out of the chimney on the Sistine Chapel. I couldn't get enough of the coverage. I was watching you, Garrett. I was watching all the networks. Just super exciting. It was either the 4th or 5th round of voting. And yes, we do have a new pope, the first American pope in history in more than 2,000 years. He was Robert Prevost, but he now goes by Pope Leo XIV. He's actually from Chicago, but he spent the last 40 years of his life living in Peru, where he has been doing his ministry. But yeah, this happened pretty quickly. I think some people were expecting maybe, a few days, maybe possibly a few weeks. But it happened on the second day of the conclave. We have a brand new pope. Excited to see what he's going to do for the world.
This afternoon, I had the chance to speak with Dr. Stephen Oakey, who is an associate professor of theology at St. Leo University in Pasco County. And he talked about how this was certainly a surprising pick.
I think in the last couple of weeks, whether I've been talking to people in the media or to my students, the one thing I have said I was very certain of is that the next pope would not be an American. And I am wrong. And so I think that one is a real surprise to me and to a lot of people. I think it's worth noting that, now Leo XIV, Pope Leo XIV, spent much of his career in Peru and really hasn't lived in the U.S. for a significant period of time in almost 40 years. But yeah, he's from Chicago. And went to Villanova. And so I think that's just a big surprise.
And you did mention, too, that it didn't take long for them to kind of coalesce behind him as the guy.
Yeah, it sounded like after, when people were talking about him, he's just a really quiet, humble, likable man. And so maybe that's what the other cardinals saw, and they said, this is our guy.
Yeah. I also spoke with Roger Nutt, who is the provost of Ave Maria University, another Florida Catholic university. It's down in Southwest Florida. And I talked with him about the significance of the name, because we know the popes kind of assume a new name. He chose Pope Leo XIV. And so I asked the provost about what the significance he thinks might be behind this new pope selecting that name of Leo.
Leo XIII was a towering figure at the gateway between the end of the 19th century and the start of the 20th century. So he has the 4th longest reigning pope. He was pope from 1878 to 1903, and his pontificate was known for being extremely productive. He produced a lot of documents, and the main focus of his pontificate was to engage contemporary issues in light of the perennial principles of the church. So he paved the way for a lot of the initiatives that we came to know in 20th century Catholicism. So I do see a significance in the choice of this name, because Leo XIII was often seen as the inspiration for towering figures in the 20th century, like Pope John Paul II. So I do see the new Pope as signaling somewhat the kinds of themes that he's going to be committed to in his pontificate by the choice of this name.
So night has fallen in Vatican City, but we know when the sun rises, the new Pope will be getting right to work.
Yeah, tens of thousands of people filled that square today. It was so exciting to see. A lot of tears, a lot of smiles. And then when the Pope came out and spoke, it was a very historic moment. And it's cool to see stuff like this. It doesn't happen many times in one's lifetime.
Yeah.
So it's always interesting to see. Last one was Francis. I remember that. And now we have Leo.
And to see the people's emotions in the
Yeah.
square. Celebrating
Holding
and
their flags of their country.
their flags,
and,
their signs, just the
so
joy.
cool.
It is cool. And then to also see the emotion on the new Pope's face, you
Right.
could kind of see that and kind of
Yeah.
see probably, as the weight of this kind of sinks
Yeah.
in, but also kind of taking in that moment as
Even
well.
if you're not Catholic, it was such an
Yeah.
emotional, exciting moment today.
All right, let's move on to story number 2. This one here in Florida, where a Sanford pastor has been arrested in Virginia on some serious charges.
Yeah, very disturbing. His name is Yerson Basto. He's 33 years old. He's a pastor of a church in Sanford. Hopefully I'm saying this right. Epel Pentecostal Church. He's accused of inappropriately sexually assaulting 2 young girls who were members of his church here in Sanford. So now, considering he was arrested up in Prince William County, Virginia, we are waiting for him to be extradited back here to Seminole County to face these charges. He's going to be charged with assault of 2 young girls. And just disturbing when you hear of someone in a position of power like this, conducting themselves in such a manner. But we are told by police that he has been removed from his pastoral role at that church, and we are following that more today at 5 as well.
All right, we will stay tuned for more updates on that. Story number 3 today, and that is the Attorney General fighting the stay on Florida immigration enforcement as that case continues to move forward. We have some news, have had new developments in this.
Yeah, we've been following this story for weeks now. A judge down in Miami, a federal judge, had decided that the law passed here in Florida that makes it illegal to be an immigrant in the state of Florida. She said she halted that and said it's possibly unconstitutional. So that law has been on hold for weeks now. And Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer, he's basically tired of this judge. So he's taken his beef up to an Atlanta judge, the 11th Circuit there, filing a motion to try and get this Miami federal judge's order overturned so that they can start arresting illegal people here in the state of Florida once again, or I should say illegal immigrants here in Florida once again, and charge them with misdemeanors for just being an illegal immigrant in the state of Florida.
We heard this week from Governor Ron DeSantis, who said he is confident that this law will stand, that it will hold up in court.
We actually feel confident that we'll ultimately be vindicated on that. It should be a crime to enter the state of Florida illegally. We have police power to be able to do that. That does not undercut or interfere with federal efforts. In fact, if anything, that buttresses federal efforts.
So again, as you said, we've been following the story for weeks, continue to have developments in it. So we will continue to monitor that as it moves forward. And finally here, some new tourism numbers to give us an idea of just how many visitors are continuing to come to Orlando.
So many,
a
right?
lot.
They just keep on rolling in. Orange County's seeing really huge numbers when it comes to tourism. It reminds me of the pre-pandemic time. During the pandemic, the numbers went down a little bit because people weren't traveling. But boy, we saw a lot of people. 75 million visitors came to Orlando last year in 2024. And that really is great for our economy. It brings in billions of dollars. But just in tourist tax money alone, in the month of March, so last month, well, 2 months ago, we're in May now, We saw $40 million in tourism tax money. And the Orange County leaders say that's the second most in the month of March ever.
Wow.
And they said, but the most was the year before that in 2023, and that's because Easter actually fell in the month of March. So that maybe boosted up the numbers. But like we were saying, Garrett, the tours just keep coming. This is, the tourist capital of America. And we were talking earlier before we went on that maybe with Epic Universe opening, we're going to see even more people coming in 2025 to Central Florida as well.
That's a great point, because we know Fox 35's Ryan Elijah spoke with Orange County Mayor Jerry Dimmings earlier at this event where they released these numbers. And I want to play the soundbite where he talks about theme parks bringing in a huge number of visitors to begin with.
All of our theme parks are continuing to make investments in this area. Disney announced, of course, nearly $17 billion worth of investment. Universal, of course, is opening Epic Universe. SeaWorld is expanding. All of that means that it gives people a reason why to come back to visit us. And so I believe that our numbers are going to continue to increase for the foreseeable future.
And that's a good point that you made with the opening of Epic Universe, because we know how much hype there is around that, how much excitement. And for with those theme parks changing things, adding things,
Right.
it does, like to the mayor's point, encourage people to not just come here, but to come back here.
Yeah.
Even after.
There's lots to see and do.
There is a lot.
Yeah, not just the theme parks.
It's
We
not
have the
just theme
convention
parks.
centers that brings in huge groups of people, all of our beaches. If you go to Miami, you might want to spin up to, Orlando and come check out the theme parks and stuff here too. So I agree with the mayor. I think it's just going to keep on growing because there's reason to come back time and time again.
And one other point he made that we want to highlight here is he talked about with this large number of tourists, it also kind of highlights and increases the need for mass transit.
It means that with these types of numbers, we have to look at alternative modes of transportation to get people around within the region. We're in the central part of the state. We're the #1 tourist destination. We have to have a mass transit system. Otherwise, we're going to end up with gridlock.
No one wants gridlock.
Good point. No, I've taken the Bright Line down to Miami. Absolutely love it. My oldest son still lives down there. So I wish they would expand the Bright Line to Tampa. I know they're looking into it. Driving to Tampa is such a nightmare, but yeah, that would move people around a lot better if we got that high-speed train kind of going everywhere.
Oh, it would make things so much easier because
Right.
that drive to Tampa and back takes so much longer than it should,
Right.
and causes so many more headaches than it should.
Yes.
That would certainly ease up the travel and bring more tourists, I'm sure, here to Orlando as well.
Absolutely.
Well, that is today's Top 4 at 4. Luann, we appreciate you joining us.
My pleasure.
We're going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we'll be right back after this.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Hey, Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Noah Berggren joins me now. And Noah, we are rolling on with this Fox 35 Impact Day.
That's right, Garrett. We expect a busy couple of days ahead, and it's possible we have multiple of these all the way through next Monday. But it's good news. Rain.
We do need that rain. Yeah, no doubt about that.
We'll take the rain without the thunderstorms for sure. But tonight we'll get you right to the radar. We have a lot to talk about because first we've got some storms popping right now. You can see them south of the metro. I believe right to the side of me, you'll see the radar. You see right south of Disney World a big thunderstorm right now. And I'll take a little bit of a tour. First, here's the motion of the radar. Things tonight are going to move from west to east or left to right on your screen. Big thunderstorm here just south of Disney World and Magic Kingdom and Epcot. A lot of lightning even into the parks, not even where it's raining. So that's a dangerous thing. Oftentimes when there's lightning in the theme parks and no rain. Watching for people to get struck by lightning. There is some hail by Four Corners going towards Celebration, not large hail right now, but that's the zone where I've circled. We're expecting this chance of thunderstorms as we head through the evening is essentially east of Ocala and the Villages, especially the I-95 corridor as we head into the evening hours tonight. So between about 5 and 8, I think is going to be prime time for these storms, and several should turn out to be severe. We do have a level 2 risk for parts of our area. The severe weather threat goes from 1 to 5. It's from the Storm Prediction Center. If you've lived in the Midwest, you may be a little bit more familiar with this than if you're a longtime Floridian. Generally in Florida, we see level 1s and 2s often. Very uncommonly do we get level 3s, and very rarely do we see 4s and 5s. Today we've got a level 2 slight risk in the yellow from Palm Coast to Titusville. The way you should interpret this is where the yellow is, the threat for some severe storms is a little bit higher than in the green areas. And any of those storms that did turn severe would produce large hail and maybe some damaging wind gusts through the evening. Tomorrow, there's also a threat for severe storms, everywhere shaded in green. And then on Saturday, there's a chance of severe storms from the Villages to Deltona and points north from there. Then we will have probably another chance on Sunday and another chance on Monday. So here's the setup for early next week. Low pressure over the deep south, high pressure over the Caribbean. Remember, Garrett and our viewers, when you watch weather on when you watch weather on TV, when you see low pressure, it's moving counterclockwise, spinning. When you see high pressure, it's rotating clockwise. So when you've got them in such proximity to each other, you've got opposing flow, low and high. And what that's going to do early next week, as you see I've drawn there, is going to funnel in a lot of Caribbean moisture to Florida, and it will feel like August on Mother's Day and Monday next week. The humidity's come up now, as I'm sure you've noticed. Everybody seemingly has noticed. It'll get a lot higher over the weekend and peak on Monday. And what that's going to do is give us a ton of rain next Monday. Specifically Monday, there could be several inches of rain for most of the area in more organized and widespread severe weather as opposed to this scattered stuff that we've got over the next few days. So just to highlight in everybody's mind, Monday next week, probably the most active day of this spell. And then once that moves out, this is not the beginning of the rainy season. I know a lot of people are hearing us talking about this daily rain thinking, oh, yep, this is it. We're in the daily rain now until September. We don't think so. We're going to go back to a very dry spell starting next Tuesday, and it might not rain again in many areas for a long while. And the drought will redevelop and re-worsen. It's not going to completely go away over these next few days. It'll get obviously better in many areas. But even if we get 5 inches of rain, there'll still be a rain deficit of several inches. And then if we start getting dry again for weeks, the drought will come back and we'll have a fire threat again. So this is not a drought-busting period of rain. It's a drought helping, for sure. But just to put on your roadmap, these storms every afternoon the next few days, but peaking on Monday in this tropical air mass. Then after that next week, we'll go back to sunny and drier weather the middle and end of next week.
Still concerns about the lightning, Noah, and the danger it could cause or in sparking potential fires?
Oh, for sure. And Garrett, speaking of the lightning, you're a runner more so than I am. I believe there's a 5K tonight in Orlando. Or this
there
evening.
Is. Yeah, downtown, yeah.
Do you know? So it's a good thing you bring up the lightning because this is a great example. You see right on this, if we have the graphic still next to me, look up by the D in Disney World. Each of these bolts on our radar system, these are cloud to ground bolts. So not cloud to cloud or cloud to sky. These are actual detected a bolt of lightning hit the surface of the earth and it shows up as a symbol. Notice, like by Disney World, there's lightning striking in clear air. That's several miles from where it's actually raining. So that's the danger, probably the underappreciated thing, sadly, about thunderstorms, because still, even in 2025, people die from thunder and lightning in the United States and across the world, is that, especially when it's really humid out in the summer months, lightning can and often does strike 5, 10, 15 miles away from the actual rain. So people see it's not raining and they think there's no threat of getting struck by lightning. But this is a prime example. You see that graphic where the storm is over Celebration and there's lightning over the theme park. So that's always a concern, for example, running and things like in the summer months and tonight.
Yeah, and that corporate 5K beginning at downtown, I believe 6:45 it looks like, when the runners start. So hoping things stay clear.
For sure, we'll keep an eye on the radars, but by that point, this storm is maybe east of Orlando, but we'll see.
All right, Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Noah Berggren, we appreciate you joining us.
Thank you, sir.
We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back in. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Thursday afternoon. We talked a little bit about the tourism numbers, impressive tourism numbers, 75 million visitors to Orlando in 2024. That's some of the numbers and information about the tourists to our area that was released today by Visit Orlando. They held their event to give an update on the impact of the travel and tourism on Orlando and Orange County. And speaking at that event was Orange County Mayor Jerry Dimmings. I want to play for you some of his remarks as he kind of set things up and talked about that impact on our area.
Thank you all for being here, and welcome to the beautiful Orange County Convention Center. It's my pleasure to be with you today for Visit Orlando's annual Travel and Tourism Luncheon. Thank you to Visit Orlando's board and president, Cassandra Mate, for your leadership. We're looking forward to the announcement of big tourism numbers today. We continue to have a strong presence in major domestic and international markets. In concert with our theme parks and hospitality industry, you can see why Orange County remains the #1 travel and tourism destination in North America. Join me in giving our travel and tourism partners a round of applause. Listen, I'm thrilled that we are hosting today's luncheon at our award-winning Orange County Convention Center. Let me share a few highlights from the Convention Center. For the 2024-2025 fiscal year, we are projected to host 185 events with an estimated 2 million attendees and $4.7 billion in economic impact. In just a few weeks, Premier Orlando, the nation's leading beauty industry event, will be at the Convention Center, generating more than $126 million in economic impact. In June, we look forward to welcoming back the AAU Junior National Volleyball Championships. This is the largest youth volleyball championship in the world, certified by Guinness World Records with 300,000 attendees and an estimated economic impact of $760 million. The center continues to grow and evolve to meet the needs of our customers, and we are excited to begin construction on the Grand Concourse expansion project. Breaking ground this December, the Grand Concourse expansion will add an additional 44,000 square feet of meeting space and a 100,000 square foot ballroom to enhance its capabilities and improve attendees' engagement at events. In addition, Orange County's tourism industry set another record. In March of this year, we collected $40 million in hotel tax, the second highest collection on record. The success of our tourism industry would not be possible without the partners in this room and the thousands of employees who provide an unbelievably real experience for our visitors. I want to congratulate our industry professionals as we celebrate National Travel and Tourism Week. This week demonstrates how integral travel is to our economic growth, our community, and our quality of life. Before I close, I was asked to talk about my first job in tourism and hospitality. This really is my personal testimony and example of what the industry means to me. 50 years ago, I worked in the industry, washing dishes. I then went on, I grew up. I became a character at Walt Disney World. I had no idea that 50 years later, I would be the Orange County mayor and hosting you here at the Orange County Convention Center. So thank you to the industry. Thank you to all of you for making a difference in my life, for making a difference in our region and helping us to move our region forward. Thank you. God bless. I'll see you soon.
So that was the mayor speaking during that event earlier today at the Orange County Convention Center. And after the announcement, Mayor Demings spoke with Fox 35's Ryan Elijah to talk more about the impact. I'm going to play part of that conversation for you.
Let's talk about the number. When you look at the number behind you, that's good news.
It is good news. We're really excited because that still means that Orlando and the region is still #1 in the country and probably within the top 5 or 10 within the world.
You know, she mentioned uncertainty, and she kind of also mentioned you have to find new groups. I mean, we really never know what the next year will bring. How do you go through those times of kind of uncertainty a little bit?
Well, all of our theme parks are continuing to make investments in this area. Disney announced, of course, nearly $17 billion worth of investment. Universal, of course, is opening Epic Universe. SeaWorld is expanding. All of that means that it gives people a reason why to come back to visit us. And so I believe that our numbers are going to continue to increase for the foreseeable future.
You and I have talked a lot about mass transportation and expanding that. How does that number push that forward for you?
It means that with these types of numbers, we have to look at alternative modes of transportation to get people around within the region. We're in the central part of the state. We're the #1 tourist destination. We have to have a mass transit system. Otherwise, we're going to end up with gridlock.
Final question, a lot of people getting excited about the baseball process.
All right, we want to get you live to this news conference in Ocala, getting an update on an officer-involved shooting after a bank robbery.
50 p.m. At the TD Bank. The address is 2437 Southeast 17th Street. The call came in at 12:50. Minutes later, officers arrived on scene. Within minutes of arrival, there's also a group of officers that found the suspect vehicle in the 3100 block of Southeast Fort King. They attempted to stop the vehicle. They failed to comply, and a pursuit ensued. The pursuit lasted about 6 minutes, and the highest speed was 90 miles per hour. All right, it went down Fort King to Mary Camp Road, or Baseline, I'm sorry, then to Mary Camp, and it ended right behind me where the vehicle crashed, lost control, and crashed in the retention pond right behind me. 2 of the 3 suspects were either trapped or stayed in the vehicle itself after the crash, and 1 suspect, a black male, emerged. He was armed with a handgun. He was told several times by officers to stay where he was and drop his firearm. Instead, he raised the firearm and he was shot. The gunshot wound was to his right wrist, non-life threatening. And once the other 2 suspects were taken from the vehicle, everybody was rushed to the hospital to attend to any injuries. At this point, I can tell you that the range of charges for the 3 individuals is bank robbery, kidnapping, fleeing and eluding, and aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer. I don't have the names of the suspects, but the bank was robbed by a white male who was armed, and you'll probably ask where the kidnapping charge comes from. That's because he took one of the tellers by force to exit the bank with him. That's where that charge comes from. Fleeing and eluding is self-explanatory, and so is aggravated assault. So with that, this investigation, because it's an officer-involved shooting, is turned over to FDLE. They will conduct their investigation. The Ocala Police Department will take care of the bank robbery. So with that, all 3, once they are cleared from the hospital, everybody will be going to jail on respective charges.
What happened with the bank employee?
She was basically, he secured her just to get to his vehicle, and then she was released.
So like he had her in front of him?
I don't have that information.
Do you know how much money he took from the bank?
At this point, undisclosed amount of money.
And we know it's the same bank that was robbed last Saturday.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Any reason that this particular bank keeps getting targeted?
I wish I knew, but right now we're 2 for 2 for getting the bad guys doing the robberies.
Do you know if there will be an increase in security around the bank following this?
It's not a bad idea, but even after it was robbed the first time on Saturday, we always up our securities. So, but it's very, very happenstance when it's going to occur. You know.
You mentioned that the highest speeds that were happening within this chase were 90 miles an hour. What's that like for officers trying to make sure they've got eyes on the suspect, but also making sure that the community is safe from?
It's a lot of multitasking, and you got to try and avoid tunnel vision, because yes, you do have to keep the vehicle in sight. Normally, the lead vehicle just drives and keeps the vehicle in sight. Secondary vehicle does all the talking on the radio to give location of where everybody's heading. So.
Was the Saturday robbery, was this sort of like happened like the Saturday robbery? How'd that play out? Was it sort of like the same, thing suspect did?
I don't have the detail, other than I know that the bank got robbed on Saturday. I don't know those details. I don't know. I know there was a female arrested in that robbery. Hers was a passing of a note. This was brandishing of a gun. So.
As you said, you were 2 for 2 for capturing these people. How are you guys doing that so quickly?
good communication and other investigative means.
How were police alerted?
I'm sorry.
Was it just one officer who fired?
Two officers, and a very minimal amount of rounds. I think only 2 rounds fired, 1 per, and that was it.
Can you share the ages of the suspects?
I don't know the ages.
And the officers who were shooting, they're all OPD?
They are OPD, yes, ma'am. So, and like with any other officer-involved shooting, they're placed on administrative leave until I'll talk with the chief come Monday, and we'll make that determination when they're cleared to come back to work.
And we were talking about all the training that you guys go through for the chases, but we talked with a witness who was bringing up, that officers never pointed their weapons towards the road or anything. It all seemed very coordinated. 2 officers fired only after communicating, even while a gun is being pointed at them. How are you feeling about your officers?
So training is key, obviously. We're very cognizant of you don't want any crossfire. You know, the 2 officers who were involved were next to each other. They weren't across from each other. And as soon as the suspect dropped himself to the ground and dropped the gun, it was over. Their use of force was done. So, but yeah, it takes a lot of coordination and a lot of training. And that's something that we take pride in doing at the PD. Sir?
What alerted police? Was it a 911 call or a silent alarm of some type? Or?
I believe it was a 911 call at least. It came in at 12:50.
Yes, sir. And all the suspects were male?
Nope, there was the gentleman who committed the robbery was a white male. The getaway driver was a white female. Okay. And then the gentleman who got shot in the arm was a black male.
And no tie-in known to that other robbery at all?
Not that we're aware of, no sir.
Yes, sir.
So 2 guys and 1 female?
Yes, sir. And from what we know, they're all locals.
Is that the only weapon in the vehicle was the one that the guy that got shot had?
That I don't know, because after the shooting occurs, we basically secure the scene. We don't search anything until it's essentially FDLE scene. So they'll look at the contents of the vehicle well before we do.
Do you know what kind of gun he had?
I do not. No, sir. Anything else?
Can you just spell your first and last name?
Yep, my first name is Louis, Louis. Last name is Biondi, common spelling.
Do you go by Lewis or Lou?
Last name is Biondi. It's B as in boy, I-O-N, D as in David, I. On paper, I'm Louis. In person, I'm Lou.
Thank you for your time.
So, all right, thank you.
Ocala police giving an update on what we know about this bank robbery that turned into an officer-involved shooting. I can play for you. I can show you a closer look at this map here, as you see where this happened. TD Bank in Ocala, near the 4400 block of Southeast Merricamp Road. We know 3 suspects are in custody after the bank robbery triggered a police pursuit. Those suspects ended up crashing into a retention pond, and they are now in custody. Florida Department of Law Enforcement investigating the officer-involved shooting after one of the suspects was shot. You heard the 2 officers open fire, each firing 1 shot. They are on administrative leave right now while this investigation continues. We're going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we'll be right back after this.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday afternoon, live on fox35orlando.com, Fox Local, and on YouTube. We appreciate you joining us. It's been a busy day here. And if you are watching us on YouTube, feel free to drop in the chat, say hello. Let us know where you're watching from. We appreciate you joining us here on Fox 35 News Plus. This morning, Orange County Commissioner Maya Uribe announced she's running for mayor in 2026. So the current Orange County Mayor, Jerry Dimmings, who we just heard from a few minutes ago, he's term limited and cannot run again. So we now know there are several, I believe 3 candidates that have announced their intentions to run for this race or have already filed, as has Commissioner Uribe. She was first elected in 2018 as commissioner and is now going to run for that mayor position. She made that announcement earlier at a press event, had a number of supporters with her as well. And then after that announcement, she spoke to reporters about her plans and priorities for that upcoming campaign.
This is huge for me. I mean, I believe jobs and the economy is where we're going. We need that here in Orange County. And we're not talking about just jobs. We need jobs that are actually going to pay so that people who live in Orange County can afford to work here, live here, and thrive here. And we haven't had that for a long time. I think transportation is also an issue that if we don't have a way to connect people, if we don't have resilient infrastructure, we are doomed. We can have the best schools, the best jobs, all these great things, but if you can't connect people, you can't be prosperous. And I think it's time that we put us first. And at the same time, I go and say workforce housing. You should be able to work and live in this county, hands down. And when you see that our local law enforcement, our firefighters, our teachers, and our nurses aren't capable of doing that, we have a significant problem.
Was there one thing that was in the impetus for you deciding to run, or was this kind of a cumulative thing?
You know, it actually was not. I would not say that from the beginning this is something that I long to do. I really enjoy my role, but I also see how limited I am in my role. I do not run the county. I cannot set the agenda. And I think that if we're really going to get these jobs, if we're really going to focus on having our economy come back open, it has to come from the top. We have to be a county that is a small business owner or any business owner. If you're going to employ people, we need to help you move forward. And that's what I want to see. I want to see a community where kids who are graduating high school and college, who go to UCF, an incredible school, want to stay here and want to keep their talent in Central Florida. And so that's where I think this opportunity came. And hopefully the voters will see that too. And we will be successful next year. We've got a long way. We're going to do it the hard way, door to door, talking to neighbors. And I'm up for the challenge.
Commissioner, you talked about the importance of transparency when you announced your candidacy. You've been outspoken about the transparency with One Pulse Foundation, also with Visit Orlando. You even referenced that when you were giving your speech. What makes your husband's charity any different?
Well, again, on February 20th, you're going to get that information because I will be announcing it. But I appreciate that. Today, we're going to talk about running for mayor and what that vision looks like. We're not going to talk about my husband. You can go and talk to him. This is about the future of Orange County and us moving forward. And that's what I want to focus on today. I have my children here, my family here, and these people are here because they want to see that.
But the
so,
office also has evidence that they
again, on May 20th, I appreciate that. And May 20th, we'll discuss that further. I know you were going to say something else.
How have previous administrations really kind of tamped things down in Orange County, and how are you planning on lifting things?
Well, to me, it's about prioritizing. I have no disregard for any of our leadership that has ever been in charge of Orange County. We are here in an incredible county for a reason. But I just think we have to focus more on our economy and on jobs. We have to be able to move that forward and really inspire companies and become a county that's welcoming. If you want to open a business, you want to be an entrepreneur, and you want to employ people in Orange County at a good wage, we need to open our doors and invite you, because if not, we're not going to get there. And you see that all the way from our law enforcement, you see that all the way from our tourism industry, and it's going to take prioritizing that going forward. And that's where I feel my energy's for, and I believe that transportation, companies are going to want to move here because they're going to see us as a competitive town that can get around and be functional. We've already got one of the most busiest airports. Let's have the infrastructure to support that too.
Commissioner, you can talk a little bit about the recent endorsements that you're announcing. Share a little bit your thoughts.
Yes, I'm very excited. So the Orange County Sheriff's Office, Fraternal Order of Police, and the Orange County Corrections Division for Orange County, they're all under the FOP. Also with the regional FOP and the state FOP have officially endorsed my candidacy for mayor. This is huge because these are the men and women that stand up for us every day. These are the ones that I talk about. These are the ones that I want us and feel that they should be able to live here. When you hear the statistics of how many deputies actually can afford to live in Orange County, but they have to work here, it's not good. And I want that to be the norm, not the unusual. So those are the best things for me. Yeah.
Do you think the state's investigation is going to impact your run at all?
May 20th, Ashlyn. That's what you're going to get, and we're going to do it then. ¿Tiene una pregunta? ¿Quieres lo personal? Well, thank you guys so much. Please have lunch. We are so excited, and I look forward to this moving forward. Thank you all.
Commissioner Uribe speaking with reporters, answering some questions there. She does say that she has officially filed her paperwork for the candidacy. We also know the most recently, Tiffany Moore Russell, the Orange County Clerk of Courts, has also filed to run in that race, and there's one other candidate in that race as well. We are going to take a quick break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we'll be right back after this.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
A live look at the Vatican, where night has fallen on a day that a new pope was elected. We saw the white smoke come from the chimney on the Sistine Chapel, where the conclave had been meeting for the second day. Probably 4 or 5 ballots is what it sounds like it took to elect Cardinal Robert Prevost, an American-born cardinal who had been living in Peru, now taking the name of Pope Leo XIV. And it wasn't long after that was announced that President Donald Trump put this on a post on Truth Social, offering his congratulations, saying, "It is such an honor to realize that he is the first American Pope. What excitement, what a great honor for our country. Saying, I look forward to meeting Pope Leo XIV. It will be a very meaningful moment." And then it wasn't long after that that President Trump spoke to reporters on the White House lawn and was asked about the new Pope announcement.
Mr. President, are you planning to meet the Pope in the near future?
Mr. President,
have you met him before? They've already called. When is that? Do you have a time in mind?
They have already spoken to us, and we'll see what happens. But again, to have the Pope from the United States of America, that's a great honor. That's a great honor.
Sir, had you asked before? Sir, had you?
I'm watching, and they said he's from America. I said, that's great.
So President Trump telling reporters that they've already called, he said. Unclear if that's the Pope directly that he had spoken to or not, but he does say he looks forward to meeting Pope Leo XIV. Well, switching gears here a little bit, and it was a big win last night for Orlando City. The Lions dominating the Tampa Bay Rowdies 5-0 in the 2025 U.S. Open Cup match. It was a slow start for the Lions, but they heated up big time in the second half. It's an in-state rivalry, a fun game, great outcome for for the Orlando City. Their 8th win in a row versus the Rowdies, now their largest margin of victory ever between those two teams. Orlando City Lions head coach Oscar Pareja spoke and said this about the game.
We're very happy to advance in the cup. We really appreciate the fact that we're representing our club in such a old and prestigious tournament that we respect. And regarding to the game, I think scoring today was so healthy for us. It was the first objective is trying to keep the pace that we have defensively on being solid, but at the same time, just move on to that team that is scoring again. So we're happy in that part, and in between the boxes, I thought we played a good game. We saw the youngsters playing, and some of the other players that were not regularly in the lineup. So it was very complete, and I would say that, excuse me, it was a very complete game for all of us, and we're excited now to put our mind into the next one against New England at home. But today it was a game that we needed. What happened today here in Tampa.
And Oscar, you talked about the scoring and you talked about the youngsters. If you could just speak on Gustavo's performance tonight, earning a brace and becoming the youngest player to score in Lions club history.
Now, congratulations to Gustavo, to the coaches in the academy, to the program that we have. I think that they have done a tremendous job on developing these kids, and put them in the first team for us is a privilege. And not just that, but you see those performances and a kid that is so young still. But I think he's representing many areas and many things from our club.
Great. We will go to the Zoom and start with Austin David.
Hey, Oscar. You guys scored 3 goals in the final 15 minutes of that first half, right out of the water break, basically. What kind of change? Did you say anything to the team in order to kind of get them moving a bit, or was it just kind of a natural progression in the game?
Well, it's natural that we have some opposition in the first part of the game. The intensity for both teams were there. We needed to be patient just to open the first goal, or to get that first goal. And we scored in the right time. I think in that moment we pushed the pedal, and the other 2 goals came. But if there is one thing that I said about what changed, it was that we moved the ball faster, and the dynamic that the boys were had to connect. That helped us just to land in the box with more numbers and with more options to score.
We will go next to Michael Citro.
Oscar, thanks for your time. Congratulations on the win. You mentioned how important it was to, that the team found their goal scoring form tonight, especially the 2 strikers, Enrique and Duncan, who hadn't been scoring for you. They each get a goal tonight. How important is that moving forward as these guys finally both see the ball go in the net?
It's so important, Michael. Duncan has been on that long recording process that he had on his shoulder, and just seeing him now getting his rhythm and his best version and scoring is so healthy for our team. And Ramiro similar too, because as you all know that he had as well some problem in his shoulder, similar to what happened, not as hard or difficult that Duncan, but he had some problem. He needed to step out from the team. But scoring today for Ramiro, it just opening possibilities for us towards what is coming this month on the league.
Very often, Santos had a part in one of the goals. Doggard had an assist as well. Obviously, apart from the goal scorers that we already talked about, how important is it to see these players play a part as well into tonight's victory?
It was good. Again, I think the possibility today to play the full roster that it was not frequently played in the last games. It was so important for us, seeing Rafael, Dagur, even Cesar, that he had a quite April, or in the month of April, he didn't play much. And have the kids as well, Gustavo, Colin, Nicolas, the two number 9s that Michael mentioned, and have all this group today to gelling together is so healthy. You don't imagine how good we feel today that we gave them minutes and we gave them this game, and they can feel that they can score goals again. So we're going to prepare in 2 days and a half for our game against New England. But what happened tonight, it was so important for us.
We have time for two more. We'll go next to Luis Carlos Pineda.
Hi, Profe. Good evening. Wonderful result. It was a derby, and the fans were electric today, especially after such a big win traveling so far. How much do you feel their energy contributed to the team's performance? And what's your message to them after this great result? Thank you.
Well, nothing but gratitude from us. It was so good to see them in the pitch, and the stands, and pushing for the team. We all know about this rivalry, and it was very important that we come not just with the result, but a good performance, and knowing that they travel. I know it's not too far, but just having them here means a lot for all of us, for the players from the group. So it was so good just to see them joining and enjoying this result.
And we will wrap up with Michael Citro.
Oscar, you decided to go young at both wing positions tonight with Gustavo and Nico, and obviously you rewarded them with minutes. They reward you with goal contributions. Two goals for Carballo. Could have had an assist on an Enrique chance in the second half, and Nico with a nice assist on Duncan's goal. Just what does that mean for the depth of this team moving forward?
Well, it's important knowing that they provide us other possibilities. For example, knowing that in the left, we can use players that are natural left crossers or players that can land in the box with that natural left angles. See as well that we can change them on the sides, and they can come for that inverted angle as well. That is important for us. And most important as well, Michael, is that Duncan, as I say, Dagur, Cesar, and Ramiro, the guys that had not many games so far, that they collect these minutes today and have good performances, and even more important that they score goals. So it was so good just to increase the depth of the group, knowing that we have much more players available. That makes us feel happy.
Well, that's going to do it for us here on Fox 35 News Plus. Coming up on the news, you'll get the latest forecast. You can see here storms moving through the area, just like Noah was talking about. We've got Fox 35's storm team meteorologist Laurel Blanchard in the Thunder truck right now. That's a picture of, so it looks like she's in Orlando. If you look at the picture above it, that's I-4 here in Lake Mary. The rain coming down here, quite a bit of traffic as well. Let me show you that angle. That's from the roof of our studio here at Fox 35. You can see the rain coming down as well. So we will have the latest forecast and weather and all these other stories as well. So keep it here. Fox 35 News at 5 begins in just seconds right here on Fox Local. Have a great afternoon.
Fox 35 News starts now with a weather alert.
We are tracking storms lighting